Hi guys, my name is Hasan Zeki Alp. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, I've been presenting you modern programming languages lessons, and so far I have prepared many programming language videos, both in Turkish and English. And this time we're going on with JavaScript lessons. So far, I have presented to you more than 20 HTML files. Around 20 examples, and within this course frame it's gonna be more than 50. That means you will be shown more than 50 examples regarding JavaScript codes and its usage, its implementation. And in this course, I will start up from lesson 3, and it's gonna take about 30 minutes for 10 examples. And without wasting any time, I'd like to start up right away. Okay, I'm using JavaScript for JavaScript lessons, Eclipse-IDE, Eclipse-IDE. So I have prepared some files here, and I'll go one by one. And just I will describe the codes line by line, and after that I will make it run by using this live preview, or other saying, by using internal web browser, and you will be seeing the output code, or calculated code regarding this JavaScript file. Okay, this is the way how we go on with our script files. And in this example, just I would like to show you JavaScript code block. Okay, within this code block, JavaScript codes are interpreted line by line. I here define a counter, count 0, and initialize to 0. And by using this method, right method, starting a loop, I will be seen on the screen, and break a line in order to go on with the next line. And within this do block, do loop, this phrase will be written on the screen. Current count, and count value will be shown, and after that a line break. And in order to make a continuous loop, you have to increase, of course, the counter. This notation stands for increment one by one. And after that, okay, while it's increased, while count less than 5, it's gonna continue. And after that, whenever it becomes more than 5 or equal to 5, it's gonna go out of the loop. And this document, this phrase, this message will be displayed on the screen. And that's all. All script codes are like this in our example. And what about this? This is actually HTML code, just to inform the users or the looker about the case, relevant case. Okay, just I'd like to show you this in a live preview. Okay, just when we start in our loop, this phrase will be placed on the screen, starting loop. Okay, and during the loop, it's gonna repeat it 5 times, in fact, starting from 0 up to 5. 5 will be excluded, of course. And current count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be displayed on the screen. And whenever it becomes greater than 5 or equal to 5, it's go out of the loop, and this phrase will be displayed on the screen. Loop stopped, and the last phrase, explanatory phrase, will be displayed on the screen. That was our JavaScript code. How about the next example for this course, for this lesson? Okay, we're going on with loops. This time I will be displaying the same starting loop phrase once again. This time I use for construction, for loop instead of a while. And in order to go on with the next line for loops, the circumstance inside the loop, inside the for, must be ensured. That's to say, we are going on we're starting on with count 0. This is the counter, and this is the upper limit, count less than 10. If the count is less than 10, that is gonna out of the loop, and this is the count increment value. This symbol stands for increase 1. So as long as this circumstance or this condition is true, this line will be performed. And of course, the other will be performed in order to leave a new line. And current count phrase will be displayed, and count value will be displayed for each turn. And whenever it becomes 10 or equals to 10, greater than or equals to 10, our loop will come to an end, and on the screen there will be a phrase loop stopped, such as loop stop. And that's all for this course, for this code. And once again, I'd like to run it and show it to you. This time, starting from 0 up to 9, similar loop procedure will be performed. Okay, so far so easy, I think. And how about the next script code for this lesson? Okay, I define here variable a property, and I recall the write method here, document write navigator object properties. This is the title, somehow title, and I establish a for loop here for a property in navigator. In conversational English, that can be translated like that. As long as a property is in navigator, that means if this is observed, so the next line will be performed, of course, and by leaving an empty, by skipping an empty line, another line, and after the loop, there will be an explanatory phrase again. Just this will be a surprise here, because in fact there will be so many things to be written in navigator like this. All of them are methods or functions to be used, to be called during your usage the JavaScript codes. However, when we use it in such a for loop, it's going to be printed, all things, all bits and pieces will be printed on the screen. And after the loop comes to an end, this exiting from the loop phrase will be printed on the screen. Okay, this was an example. Let's see another example here. Okay, I'd like to show you an example of loop control. One way to establish a loop control is to use a break keyword. Break keyword just stops the performing of code and do not allow to go the next line. This is its function. Let's see in a more detailed manner. I here define a variable x, so it's initialized as 1, and here I like to write a phrase entering the loop and break, of course. And here I establish a while loop here. Just look here within the curly brackets, right? Starting from up to here. Okay, this while loop will be performed as long as x less than 20. That means starting from 1 up to 19, it's going to be repeated 19 times. Okay, and how about a control mechanism here? Okay, we can establish a control mechanism by using if comparison here. If x equals to 5, okay, if this rule is observed, that means it's going to be break, or other saying, there will be doing some things up to 5. For example, up to 4, it's gonna do some things, and whenever it becomes 5, it breaks and breaks out of the complete loop completely, in fact. However, if it does not equal to 5, what sort of things could be done? Okay, x will be increased by 1, and within the loop, still in the loop, there will be right x plus and another line. And after out of the loop, there will be a paraphrasing message here, exiting from the loop. That's all. So by running this in live preview, just I'd like to show it to you. For this one. Okay. Entering the loop. Okay, here entering the loop, and one is not written because inside it's increased by 1. Just you can see here x is initialized to 1. However, by means of this code, it's increased to 2. So it is gonna start with 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whenever it becomes 5, it's gonna it's gonna be written, and exiting the loop will be the final phrase for this example. How about next one? Here, I would like to show you an example of continuous statement. Continuous statement is another way to control loop execution. Simply continue does nothing, just allows your program to go on without doing anything. Here, our script code relies here, stays here, and I define a variable, once again the same structure. This case, I'm establishing the loop as long as it is less than 10, and right away I increase the value of our counter by 1, and if x equals to 5, so it's going to continue to perform without stopping or without breaking anyhow. And after that, after this loop, okay, a message will be printed saying that the value of x, and out of this while loop, okay, just you can see here, there will be a message on the screen exiting the loop. All the same, just I replaced continue with break. Break simply stops the performing of the code. However, continue just allows to go on with the next line. This is the difference between them. Okay, this is another demo, JavaScript demo 26. Using labels to control the flow. This is another way to control any loop in the JavaScript coding. I here at the very beginning write a message on the screen entering the loop, and outer loop I just look here. I place an label here, outer loop and semicolon. Just this is a must, and I establish a for loop here, and this is the initial value and startup value, and this is the upper value or limit value, and this is the increment value. It's going to be increased by one. And how about the curly bracket and block, execution block? This is the execution block. In fact, just when I see inside, I can see another loop here, inner loop. This is another label that's going to be used for controlling or for backing up purposes. And here there exists another for loop. Okay, this is the structure for this is the conditions for loop. J will be 0 and J will be compared with 5, and as long as J less than 5, it's gonna go on with this for a loop execution, and of course J will be increased by 1. And how about the control mechanism here? If J greater than 3, it's gonna break. Okay, and if I equals to 2, break inner loop. So inner loop will be stopped here, and inner if I equals to 4, it's gonna break, and outer loop. So there will be some sequential printout here. Of course, just we can say whenever we look here, and before exiting the inner loop, there will be a message inner loop, and it's going to concatenate with this counter and line break. And out of this block, exiting the loop with message will be written. Just we can say that this loop will be performed 5 times. Okay, for I. And how about for J? This loop will be repeated once again 5 times, but in this case starting from 0 up to 5. 5 will not be included, will be excluded, of course. And whenever J becomes 3, becomes greater than 3, it's gonna break, and blah blah blah, the other stuff will go on. Okay, when we make it run with the help of live preview utility, I can show you this one entering the loop. Okay, outer loop will stop 0 at the very beginning, and the inner loop also 0, and the inner loop will be increase up to 4. Okay, just you can see here. And this stands for letter J, counter J, for inner loop, in fact. And whenever it becomes greater than 3, it's gonna break, and outer loop will 1, and 0, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and go on like this. And at the end of this loop performing, outer loop will have a value of 4, and inner loop will have a value of 3, not greater than 3, not greater than 4, and exiting the loop phrase will be shown on the screen. Let me show you another example here. Okay, here I still go on with loop control mechanism using labels, and in this case I just change some controlling mechanism, such as if J equals to 3, continue outer loop. Just I change break command with continue, because I do not like to break the performance of code. Just I prefer it to be continue So continue keyword allows the software allows the JavaScript code to be performed without doing anything. Okay, just let's go one by one. This is the for loop, the first for loop, and our mechanism is will be repeated three times for 0, for 1, and for 2, and as long as it becomes 3 or yes, or equal to 3, it's gonna go out of this loop, for loop. And how about the inner for loop? Okay, in this case, there is another variable as a counter. In this case, I call it j. J is initialized at 0, and j is compared with 5. As long as j is less than 5, is going to repeat it. That means this inner loop will be performed 5 times, and this is the increment value, as you see. And if j equals to 3, so continue, simply continue, and outer loop will be performed here. And out of the inner loop, it's going to be a message inner loop and plus j, this concatenated, and code finishes here. And at the finish phase, there will be a message exiting the loop, and that's all. Let's make it run with Java with live preview. And this case, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2 is repeated, and without having number 3, because as soon as it equals to 3, it simply continue without doing anything. That's all. How about our next example for this JavaScript lesson? Okay, once again, I use this seems sorry guys, this is the same with the previous. Same with the previous one, so I must go the next example here. So I here would like to start up functions section with JavaScript lesson. Calling functions, how can handle this? At first, just look here. Our script code relies here. Just within this script code, I define a function. I define a function, say hello, and within this hello within frame, I call the right method so as to say hello there. And how about the form downwards? And this is the body of our code, body part. And here I create a paragraph. Click the button, click following button to call the function. This is printed on the screen. In fact, okay, yes. When I run the live preview, you can see it here. Click the following button to call the function. And how about these commands? Input type button. That means it's gonna create a button here. And on click means that this is a live button, in fact, and it is sensitive to click. And whenever it is clicked, it's gonna say hello, and the value will be say hello. Other saying the name of this button will be say hello. And just look upwards. I call this function say hello once again. Okay, when I click on the button, just you can see that I recall say hello function, and this right method is recalled. That means I can use this phrase so as to be displayed on the screen. Just this is our screen show page. Whenever we click on that button, this message will be performed. Just I would like to repeat this thing once again. Okay, our code just manages to create a button here. Its name is say hello, like this. Okay, you can see here, and the live command is clicking on the button. In fact, say hello, and whenever you click on say hello, it's gonna change the screen, and hello there message will be written on the screen. How about our next, last example here? Okay, function parameters. Just I here define a function say hello. However, this time it's gonna accept two parameters such as name and age, two parameters, and there will be a write method recalling here. So name is plus age plus years old. There will be a name, of course, and let's say Zara is 7 years old, will be performed. Okay, let's focus on how it is managed by means of clicks in the form part. This is the form part, as you can see here, and this is the explanatory a prompt. We can say that this is a prompt to inform the user. And when I repeat this live preview command once again, okay, click the following button to call the function phrase will be performed, okay, on the screen. And there will be a button here created by means of input type button command. This simply creates a button, and its value or its name or its label will be say hello. Just you can see here. Okay, say hello, and whenever you click on the this button, there will be Zara is 7 years old. This message, this method, say hello method, will be recalling with these two parameters, you guys, Zara and 7. So let's focus on this function once again. This function will accept two parameters, name and age, and by accepting this name and age, it's gonna print out this method name plus is 7 years old. So far, I have shown you 10 JavaScript codes, and by describing its functions and its usage with arguments with parameters, I've shown you the output screen and how it is looked like. And we'll go on with our lessons in next week. I would like to thank you for your sparing time watching me on this channel. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you a nice day for the remaining part of this day. Bye bye.